Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is our daily show giving you all the latest news from the world of movies with insight into what it all means. Joining me as always is AMC's editor-in-chief, John Campia.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
And hello, everybody. Look, the adventures of the flaccid water bottles continue. Look, I'm not kidding. Look at this. I know you have a hard time seeing this.
Wobble, wobble.
That's not normal. That is not normal. It reminds me of Uncle Walter. I have no idea what that really means.
Whoa, horrific stories there. Okay, and also joining us is director of the popular animated series Metalocalypse and the new upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, John Schnepp.
Hey, I want to hear these stories about Uncle Walter.
Yeah, I'm kind of disturbed by that. Well, everything appears to be kicking into high gear for Marvel Phase 2. Iron Man 3 opens in AMC theaters everywhere in May, Thor 2 opens later this year, and now concept art and images for Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor 2, Ant-Man, and Captain America 2 have emerged. In these images, we see concept design for Ant-Man, our first Thor 2 image with Natalie Portman as Jane, concept art of Captain America fighting Bucky, our first look at a concept of Falcon, and of course, our first up-close look at Rocket Raccoon of the Guardians of the Galaxy. John, like what you see in these images?
Love it. I'm loving what I'm seeing in these images. It's really good seeing, starting at the bottom, it's really good seeing Natalie Portman in these Thor images. I think this is the first one that we've got to see Natalie Portman in as well, and it's kind of cool seeing her in kind of, not Earth clothes. So that's pretty cool. So as Guardian clothes, that's pretty cool. I love the image of Captain America fighting Bucky. That looks really great. There are a number of images in here that look really cool, but the one that stands out to me the most is our first real close-up piece of concept art of Rocket Raccoon. And look, however he turns out, he could be a disaster. Dennis and I were just talking about this. Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy could turn out to be a Jar Jar Binks-sized disaster, or it could turn out to be one of the best things they've ever done. But the reason I love it so much is because the very presence of Rocket Raccoon and the fact that they're doing this shows us that Marvel is not just content to play it safe. They are willing to take risks. Big risk equals big reward. And how much bigger of a risk could you get with this Marvel universe than bringing in Rocket Raccoon? I don't know. It could backfire on them, but I love the fact that they're trying it. Schnepp, you've had a chance to look at these images. What do you think of them?
Oh, it's really exciting. I mean, Rocket Raccoon looks amazing. I can't see it failing. I mean, I can't see it be a Jar Jar Binks disaster. He's going to be a badass raccoon with guns, and he looks cool. He looks like a raccoon. The girls are going to want a little plush toy of him. The guys are going to want the guns and stuff, or vice versa. I don't want to be sexist. Vice versa. And I mean, Ant-Man, wasn't that cool? I mean, Edgar Wright's making Ant-Man. That's going to be incredible. I mean, every single thing about Phase 2 looks really exciting. I'm glad that all of my nerd fantasy things from when I was a child are slowly happening. I'm going to get a second Avengers movie. What a great time to be alive, right?
Awesome.
Reports have come out that comedic actor Will Arnett is joining the cast of the upcoming Michael Bay-produced Ninja Turtles. Arnett will join Megan Fox, who's playing April O'Neil, in a yet-to-be-revealed role. Schnepp, do you think Arnett is a good fit for Ninja Turtles?
Well, I think they're giving a little tell that there's going to be a lot of comedy in this new Ninja Turtles. I don't know if this is still the Space Turtles thing that Michael Bay was doing.
I think I'm
all for it, though. Okay, I'm all for it. Maybe he's in charge of some other kind of space armada. It's like the weird spaceship comedian guys who come in, They're like, you will not be allowed to eat your pizza. I don't know. Will Arnett, he's funny, so I don't see them casting him as we cast him as the serious role to play opposite Megan Fox and then fight the Space Turtles. He's like the Emperor. I think he's going to be like, obviously they're saying, look, there's going to be comedy in here. It's giant turtles, not Gamera style, but they're like Ninja Turtles. They're from space. If it's not going to be funny, what's it going to be? Serious? With Will Arnett? No.
Well, this is the thing. This news breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart because, first of all, I love Will Arnett. I think he's hilarious. Like, everybody thinks of him, obviously, in Arrested Development. I love him in this comedy that nobody watches called Up All Night.
I think it's great. I watch it.
Yeah, and I think he's really good in that. I love this guy. But here's the reason I hate this news. Because The last statement that we heard from Michael Bay about the Ninja Turtles movie is that he was going to try to get closer to the original Eastman comic books, which I've been preaching on this show for months. When I think of Ninja Turtles, I don't think of this abomination of cowabunga dude, pizza-eating skateboarder turtle. No, that's not what the Ninja Turtles are. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are these dark, badass, killer assassins. The original comic books are deadly, and they're dark, and they're serious. And I got so excited when I heard Bay say, hey, we're going to go more in tone to the original Eastman comic books. And then you introduce Will Arnett. Obviously, they're not going in the direction of the comic books. Schnepp's exactly right. This is clearly a sign to all of us. They're going to go in the way of silly comedy, which, you know, lessens my enthusiasm for a Ninja Turtles movie altogether.
Wait a sec, John. What if he's going to be playing Splinter?
Well,
right?
If he's playing Splinter...
maybe it'll be good.
That could be interesting. I got to admit, that would be interesting. I still worry about it being slapstick Splinter, but it would be really interesting. All right, folks, listen, we've come to that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's what's going to happen. Ashley's got a bunch of other issues from the world of movie news that she's pulled out. She's going to read them off, and Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we have?
Last week, we reported that the Dark Knight trilogy director, Christopher Nolan, was going to offer the leading role in his next movie, Interstellar, to Matthew McConaughey. Today, McConaughey confirmed that he is going to accept the role. John, buy or sell McConaughey accepting Nolan's offer for Interstellar?
Absolutely buy it. What on earth do you do? Turn down Christopher Nolan? Yeah, nah, your movies suck, man. I don't want to be... Yeah, obviously, if Christopher Nolan comes to your door knocking and say, you want to be starring in my new movie? You say, yes, sir. When do we start, sir? I think this is great, and I think McConaughey, I should say, is a great pick for Nolan. McConaughey is a tragically underrated actor. He is a great actor, and if you say otherwise, you simply don't know what you're talking about. So, Schnepp, what about you?
Yeah,
now,
totally
Schnepp's going to say he's not a good actor.
No. I think McConaughey's a great actor. I just saw him in this insane William Friedkin movie, which I'm spacing out the name of, where he was just a horrible person, but incredible presence, great actor. Yeah, Interstellar. I mean, his DP's doing Transcendence. They're all doing these crazy science fiction films. How do you say no? Yeah, they'd be like, forget it, Nolan. I'm not interested in being in your giant blockbuster. Yeah, that's going to be cool. So I'm all for it. Buy it. Totally, 100%.
Last week, we learned that Hollywood icon Robert Redford was going to be joining the cast of Captain America: The Winter Soldier as a ranking member of S.H.I.E.L.D. Today comes word that Redford is clarifying his role, saying his character is actually the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Schnepp, buy or sell Redford as the head man of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Buy it. Robert Redford, come on. It's like he's an icon. He's in a ton of amazing films. I can't wait to see his mark on the Marvel Phase 2. How he's gonna rock that. So I wonder if he's gonna be the original Sergeant Fury. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I have to sell it in the notion that it's going as if he's going to be Samuel Jackson's boss, because the way I think they're going to do it, and I actually like this, I think, like kind of Schnepp's alluding to, I think he's going to be like the original head of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think he's going to be the guy who headed up S.H.I.E.L.D. when it started, and it's going to be a part of flashback. So I sell the idea that he's going to be the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, but he probably will be in the past.
Director Tim Burton seems to have found his next project and his cast. According to reports, Burton will next tackle the biopic Big Eyes. The film's story focuses on the artistic coupling of Margaret and Walter Keane. Walter became famous in the 1950s and 60s for paintings featuring saucer-eyed kids, though it was the shy Margaret who really did the work. Margaret eventually tired of the misplaced credit, which led to a divorce and a heated court battle to prove authorship of the paintings. At one point, Ryan Reynolds and Reese Witherspoon were said to be attached to the film, but now it looks like two-time Academy Award winner Christoph Waltz and Amy Adams will be playing the lead roles. John, buy or sell the idea of Big Eyes?
Buy it. Look, I get in a lot of trouble sometimes because I often say I'm actually not a fan of Tim Burton. He's got a couple movies that I enjoy, but overall, I find his movies always kind of feel the same. They're always kind of the same macabre kind of stuff, and I'm just not for it. I love the fact that Tim Burton is going to be tackling a film like this. This, to me, sounds fascinating, and I love seeing Burton getting out of that stereotype, if you will, that I've got in my own head of him, and he's stretching out, doing something like this. Terrific cast. Christoph Waltz, you can't get any better than that. So I think this is wonderful for him, and I'm excited to see what he does with it. Schnepp?
I buy it 1,000%. These are the original screenwriters of Ed Wood, which is one of my favorite Tim Burton movies. So him to work again with these screenwriters to make this type of a film, a biopic, which has got all the kind of interesting little weirdnesses that I'm into, that everyone's into who watches this, it's perfect for Tim Burton to direct. I can't wait to see it. I'm so happy that he's on board and helping these guys make this. They've been trying to make it for years, so it's great that he's going to make it.
The trailer for the upcoming sequel, Grown Ups 2, starring Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, and Kevin James, has hit the web. The film follows up the original 2010 film, which took in over $271 million worldwide, despite having an abysmal 9% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Schnepp, buy or sell Grown Ups 2?
I don't know, sell it. I didn't see Grown Ups. See it. I didn't see Grown Ups. So I saw online, you got to see the Grown Ups 2 trailer. It's funny. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't need to see it. Check it out. I'm not seeing it. So I don't even care if it makes $200 million. I'll see Grown Ups 1, 2, and 3 in 2020. That's when I'm making the trilogy pack. I'm down. Eat some popcorn at home in my giant cyber theater, and that's when I'm gonna watch Grown Ups 1, 2, and 3, the trilogy. Till then, forget it.
I gotta sell it. I mean, I thought the trailers for the first Grown Ups were pretty funny too, but yeah, the Grown Ups movie was a slap in the face to film fans, to comedy fans, to Adam Sandler fans. It was a slap in our face. It was terrible. And so, yeah, this trailer's pretty funny too, but so was the trailers for the first one. So, yeah, I got to sell it. I'm not looking forward to this at all. I'll go give it a chance because I love being pleasantly surprised. But just my advanced feelings are I have no desire to see this.
And then, John, you're going to have to tell me what you thought of it since I'm not seeing it. So, be like, all right, look, Schnepp, get ready for that trilogy in like 5 more years. So, you know.
All right, folks, well, listen, we've come to that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question that you would like us to address on air, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Send in your questions. We pick out a few each day, and maybe you can get your question on air. Ashley's got a few of them pulled out. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Our first question is a video question from Nate D. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, so I was watching some movies with my girlfriend the other day. We watch movies all the time together, and we have very similar interests for the most part. And it dawned on me that I never asked her what her favorite movie was. And so I asked her, and she says Catwoman. And at first I'm like, oh, you mean The Dark Knight Rises and Hathaway? And she's like, no, Catwoman with Halle Berry. And so my question for you is, should I break up with my girlfriend?
Thank you so much for your question, Nate. Leave the woman. Leave her immediately, and when you leave her, go directly to her parents' house and reprimand them brutally for doing such a poor job raising a child. This is unacceptable. This is terrible. I would even consider reporting her to the police. These types of people should not be allowed to walk free. They should not be allowed to breed. Schnepp, you want to add anything to that?
Hey, the only thing I could add is, like, look, hold on to her hardcore style if she's Catwoman in the bedroom like Halle Berry is. That's all I could say. If she's rocking that Catwoman style stuff for you, then don't let go. Put a tight kung fu grip on that, if you know what I'm saying.
Poor girlfriend. Joe Walsh writes, I love the show. I heard you talking about Robert Downey Jr. possibly being done with playing Tony Stark Iron Man, either after Iron Man 3 or Avengers 2. But 2 replacements come to mind, either Lee Pace or Jensen Ackles.
I don't look. First of all, I love Jensen Ackles because I've said 1,000 times my absolute #1 favorite show on TV is Supernatural. But the problem with both of these guys is that you're not going to reboot Iron Man because it's a part of an ongoing continuity in the Marvel Universe. So you got to replace when the time comes to replace Robert Downey Jr. You got to replace him, not reboot him. And I think both of these guys are just simply too young. 4 guys to me come to mind. All right, when I think about guys who could potentially replace Robert Downey Jr. Number 1 is Nathan Fillion. I saw Downey Jr. and Nathan Fillion do like a thing together once, and I remember once thinking Fillion would be a great Iron Man, and I really think he would. Number 2 would be Luke Evans. Look, unfortunately, Luke has been in some pretty rough movies, including like The Three Musketeers and The Raven and things like that, but he is a great actor. I think he could bring that charm and charisma. 3rd would be John Hamm. A lot of people thought about John Hamm as Superman, but I always thought he was a little bit too old. But I think he could pull off Iron Man, and the current Tony Stark that Robert Downey Jr. has created for us could do it great. But my number 1 guy who could play Tony Stark would be, speaking of supernatural, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Now, Jeffrey Dean Morgan played the comedian in Watchmen. He was also in that highly underrated movie, The Losers, that he was also happened to be in, that he worked with Captain America, Christopher Evans is. And now, of course, he was the dad of the Winchesters in Supernatural. I think this guy would be awesome. Now, I brought him up to a friend of mine. He said, he's kind of old to play Iron Man. He's actually younger than Robert Downey Jr. I think he would be perfect for it. When the time comes that Robert Downey Jr. leaves, which hopefully will not be before Avengers 2. I don't think it'll be till well after Avengers 2, but when the time comes, Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Tony Stark. Schnepp, what are your thoughts?
You know, I figured out, I thought about this for a while. I know who can replace Robert Downey Jr. No one. No one can replace Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. No one. So kill him if he's like, yo, I'm done. I want to do some other Sherlock Holmes. I want to jump around. I want to flip out, be in comedies. I'm done with the Iron Man stuff. Then kill him. And then just run this current Marvel universe until it's over. You already have Iron Man 2. You've got Don Cheadle playing
War Machine.
War Machine, thank you. I mean, there's other Iron Men that can come in to wear the armor, but no one can play Tony Stark other than Robert Downey Jr. unless you do a reboot on everybody. So that's how I personally feel about it. Keep him, like I said last episode, give him the $700 million that he needs to build a second moon in outer space that has his face on it, and let him play Iron Man. Because we could always blow up that second moon after he's dead.
Look, I gotta follow up though. I've got this thing. I've had this philosophy that everybody is replaceable. There's nobody who is untouchable. And I recoiled to this notion that only this guy can direct these movies. Only this guy can star in this role. Only this guy But we just got to remember, Robert Downey Jr. is the only guy we've seen as Iron Man. He's defined how we think of Iron Man. But remember, if somebody else had played Iron Man first and we loved him, we'd be saying, no, don't get that other guy, Robert Downey Jr., and replace him because nobody can play Iron Man the way this guy can. When all along, Robert Downey Jr. would have been a great Iron Man. So, yeah, I kind of recoil at this idea that he's the only one who could do it. Look, would any of the guys I listed do as well as Robert Downey Jr.? Probably not. But I think they could be really good and allow the Marvel Universe to continue and go on.
John, I totally agree with you that, everybody's replaceable, that everybody, that's how it is. Like, look how many James Bonds there's been. You always have to keep moving forward. There's been like 7 Batmen from the beginning, like if you count the serials and, Adam West and all that.
And who would have ever thought?
No one can replace Robert Downey Jr. No one.
Passionate.
So it's like, that's the only person I'm like, kill him in this modern incarnation and then recast it and reboot it. Of course, he'll eventually be recast, but just don't replace him in the middle of everything that's going on right now in phase 2 and phase 3. Like, let these play out. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anybody wants to replace him. I'm just saying if he decides to hang it up. Hang it up. Anyway.
All right.
I say kill him then. Kill the character. That's mine.
Well, we've got another video question, this time from viewer Matthew Jaso. Let's check it out.
Let me start by saying I'm a new fan of the show, been watching it for about a month, and sometimes can't be out. I think you're in my head. But I got a bone to pick with you. Bruce Timm announces he's leaving DC Animation, and nothing from you guys. So I'm just wondering if that's because it's animation and not movies. If you guys are aware of it, thoughts, let me know.
First of all, thank you so much for the question. And by the way, listen, folks, if you want to send us a video question, you can. Now, the easiest way to do it is just record it on YouTube and send us the link. That's the easiest way. Try to keep it to about 30 seconds or so, and maybe you can get on the show with us. Now, I have 2 answers for your question, Matthew. Number 1, first of all, Tim is not leaving DC. He is temporarily stepping away from DC Animation to develop some other stuff within Warner Brothers, which owns DC. So, and then he's going to come back. So he's not actually permanently leaving. But the second reason you never heard us talk about Tim on this, and I should address this, is that being AMC Movie Talk, we generally talk about movies that will be playing in AMC theaters. And so, the DC animation stuff is all made for home video. It's all made for, it's not, they're never films that make it to AMC theaters. And so we don't generally talk about that stuff. It's like I get these questions sometimes in email from angry fans saying, how can you not talk about last night's episodes of Games of Thrones? Well, it's not what we do. It's the same reason I didn't talk about the World Series or talk about last night's basketball game or the Miami Heat 27-game win streak, because it's not what we do. And so that's why we didn't address it. But don't worry. Tim is not leaving DC. He's just stepping away for a little bit to work on other stuff and is coming back. Schnepp?
Right. And what's he stepping away to work on was what you should be worried about. He's not leaving DC. He's in the DC fold, Warner Brothers. Maybe he's going to work on Justice League, son. Think about that. Bam. Like, he did the most exciting, amazing Justice League. I know it was on television, it was animated, but he knows what he's doing. He's been in charge of Batman for years. He's the animation king. He's like the Brad Bird of animation. So they're bringing him in, I think, to maybe help weave out some of the live action creases and like iron everything out, you know, is what I'm talking about. Bruce Timm working on the Justice League movie, even as a consultant. I mean, that's a home run.
That is a really exciting theory. I love that idea.
Sol de Silva writes, hey guys, started watching the show a few months ago and I love getting my daily movie news from you guys. I had a question about a possible Scott Pilgrim vs. the World sequel. I am aware that the first one was not too successful in the box office, but has since garnered a large cult following, much like Kick-Ass. Since Kick-Ass 2 is now being released, do you think there is any possibility at all for a Scott Pilgrim sequel?
No, absolutely none. You know, the funny thing is I was just on having a Facebook conversation this morning with Scott Pilgrim director Edgar Wright, who's also directing Ant-Man, by the way. I love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I mean, you can look up my videos on it. I adore that movie. But the fact of the matter is, while we say, you know, Kick-Ass didn't really do that well in theater, well, worldwide it made $100 million. It made $100 million worldwide on like a $30 million budget. So it certainly did well enough that I could do it. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was a great movie, but made less than half of that. It actually lost the studio a lot of money. So because of that and the fact that Edgar Wright is now really embroiled, he's in the Marvel world, he's working on other stuff with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, I don't think we're going to see Edgar Wright go back to it. So no, I think the chances are less than 5%. Schnepp?
You know, I'm one of the early adopters of Spaced. I think Edgar Wright is an incredible genius director, writer. I love everything he's done, including Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I thought it was great. I was sad it didn't make money. There's no way there'll be a sequel. He can't even be involved. He's like, look, I can't make the movie because no one's going to give me the money to make it. He's making stuff with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. You know, I mean, let him keep rocking. He's going to do Ant-Man and all these other amazing films. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, one movie. Watch it again. It's great. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any more.
Robert M. writes, with the host bombing at the box office, which do you hate more, sequels that don't need to be made or films based on books that suck in the first place?
What's the host? What are you talking about? You mean Hostess? They went out of business. There's no more Twinkies, guys.
Well, let's first things first. No movie needs to be made. So you say sequels that don't even made. Well, guess what? No movies need to be made. They get made because they think there will be an audience for them, and that's why sequels get made, because studios think there are audiences who want to see it. So that's cool. With the host, I honestly think what went wrong for the host is the fact that they did the same thing that movie Devil did with M. Night Shyamalan. They underestimated the fact that there's a little bit of backlash right now, I think, with Stephenie Meyer and the Twilight series, because they advertise the host from the creator of Twilight, and I think they underestimated that right now there's a real backlash against the notion of Twilight, and I think that actually hurt the film. I think they should have left Stephenie Meyer's name off the advertising for it and not put Twilight in there and associated with it, because I think that turned some people off. The same way putting M. Night Shyamalan's name up on Devil did for Devil. And the reason why the new Will Smith movie After Earth does not, even though M. Night Shyamalan's directing that movie, you don't see his name on there anywhere. They don't put M. Night's name on that trailer anywhere. So, and as to what's a good book or what's not a good book, once again, it comes down to audience demand. Does a studio think that there would be an audience for a movie based on this book? Not is this book great, but would people want to go out and see it? And that's ultimately the question they have to ask themselves. So, which one do I hate more? I'd say I hate the idea of bad books being turned into movies more. That's just my feeling on it. Schnepp?
I think the host, the original Korean film with
The
the
monster
preacher,
movie?
Yeah, that was incredible. Watch that movie. If you never heard of the original host, see that. This new host, I think they should have just done a different ad campaign and had like all those chrome cars, like done a Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and the Furious type like ad campaign with some rap dude going nuts and just showing those chrome cars moving all around, and then just show some chick's eyes glowing like the host. I bet they would have made money, and people would have been mad. They would have been like, I can't believe I went and saw this stupid young adult trash. I thought I was going to see an action film with chrome cars, but at least they would have made like $30 million.
Yeah. All right, folks. So listen, we've run out of time.
Not going to go see it.
Thanks for joining us. And listen, before you do anything else, while I've got you, stop what you're doing. Click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news and, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And go on out and see a movie tonight. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater and showtime and movie ticket information. And listen, if you want an audio-only version of this episode, look into the description of this video and you'll find links to our iTunes and Stitcher Radio so you can listen to us on the way to work. I want to thank, as always, the extremely lovely Miss Ashley Mova.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you to the omnipotent, the all-powerful, the Wizard of Oz himself, Mr. John Schnepp.
You must go see the host.
Ooh,
you must go see the host.
Tequila.
You must go see the host now.
And thank you most of all to you guys. Listen, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say. It's what you have to say. Make sure you jump down to the comment section below. We read absolutely all of them and leave your thoughts on any or all the topics that we discussed here today. Once again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining us. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until tomorrow, bye-bye.